Welcome back to Sports Today. As I promised at the top of the program, sporting royalty, Dwayne.
You've even put your thongs on for this interview. It must be sporting royalty,
It is
Gerard.
royalty without doubt. As you know, some people are synonymous with their sport. Bradman, Barassi, Matthews, Laver, Nicholas, Cummings to name a few. And in surfing, Kelly Slater is the current king, a name that will endure through the history of the sport. He has few peers, but one of them is our guest tonight in Gerry Lopez. Welcome to you, Gerry, and welcome back to the country.
Well, thanks for having me. It's good to be back. I don't know why I've stayed away so long.
Over 30 years. What have we been doing wrong, or what did we do wrong the first time you were here, given that you're credited with opening up Indonesia along with Rory Russell to the rest of us here in Australia and around the world, and yet you kept flying over Australia.
Well, you know, what happened was they started opening up that direct flight from Hawaii straight to Indonesia, and I think that's what did it. Yeah, but I'm sorry I haven't been back. I've been a fool.
Well, that's okay. I don't think too many people would describe as that. My partner here, Dwayne, has just got into surfing, and for those of our listening audience that don't quite understand your reputation in the sport, for the best part of 2 decades, Dwayne, Gerry was the biggest name in the sport, probably more a mystical figure than anybody else. And Gerry, you're actually credited with revolutionising, or at least ushering in, the shortboard revolution back in the 70s. Did you actually understand how rapidly the sport was progressing when it was happening?
I wish I had. No, I didn't. You know, it happened so quickly. I mean, surfing has grown so much in such a short time. Today, I still look back and go, man, why wasn't I more on top of that? But, you know, we're just out there catching waves. You never know.
But the wave you're most famous for catching is pipeline for until, I guess, the world opened up. That was, in our terms, the MCG of surfing, Dwayne. And your tube riding, I guess, was the biggest feature in the sport.
Well, I had a couple of good surfboards that seemed to work real well there, and that's pretty much all it was.
You've been in a couple of movies as well. People probably have seen you on the screen, for those people who don't know who you are or what you've done, but Big Wednesday was one of yours. I noticed that you starred alongside Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan the Barbarian too. Is that correct?
I did. That was a fun time.
What was Arnie like? If we can just get off surfing for a second.
He was great. I took him out surfing one time, and he got on the board, paddled out to the break, made it outside, got off the board, shoved it into the beach, and said, "That's it."
I can imagine he would have paddled out there fairly strongly. He would have been, I'm not too sure, he was big back in those days, and I'm not too sure it was just all on fruit juice. Big Wednesday was massive as well. I mean, surfing in Australia has grown so much in the last 15, 20 years. It has become a massive industry now. It rivals the golf industry. There's so many surf shops everywhere. There's new developments with surfboards and fins that have happened over the last 10, 15 years. And yet I still see, you know, where I live, there's 70-year-olds, 65-year-olds who get out. They can barely walk from the car to the surf, but once they hit the water, they paddle like a 17-year-old, and they are fine. They stand up, they surf, they love it. It's the kind of thing that takes hold of you for life by the looks of things.
Well, that's what happens with surfing. You know, once you're in for life.
And you're in your 60s now, so you still get out most days?
As much as I can, I'll tell you that. I mean, I still, you know, when I see a good wave, or actually these days my standards have gone way down. I see any wave, I get so excited. I mean, I'm like a little kid again.
Gerry, I spoke to a mate of mine who's been shaping boards for me for about 20 years, who's graduated onto a stand-up paddleboard. You seem to have been at the forefront of that revolution as well, and that has to be part and parcel of longevity in the sport.
Well, it's just another way to surf. You know, there's been all these offshoot sports from surfing all the way along the line. Windsurfing we really got into back in the 80s, and, you know, for a while you get so far into it that you forget to put your surfboard in the car, and then all of a sudden, you know, something happens and you go, wow. The surfboard goes back in, and pretty soon the windsurfer doesn't go in the car anymore. And, I'm going through a phase right now with the stand-up where it's new, it's challenging, it's hard to do, but it's more fun than anything else at this point, and it's different. And that's why I like it. I think it's a great compliment to, prone surfing.
You've been brought out to the country by Patagonia, a pretty high-profile sports company in their own right, or surf company in their own right. And you've written a book, Surf is Where You Find It, a collection of stories and photographs about your lifetime in surfing, the lessons you've learnt. What's your favourite chapter?
Actually, I think it's one of the first ones. It's a section when I was growing up on the island of Kauai, where my mother was from, about a surf spot there called Pakala, also known as Infinity. It's a beautiful, perfect little left that my mother grew up, was born right there on the beach and grew up there. And then, later on, when I was a child, I spent a lot of time there and actually really started my surfing career at that surf spot. And so I wrote a nice little story about those times.
Last one from me. Gerard's been telling me, everybody tells me that Kelly Slater's the best that's ever been. Is he the best that's ever been in your eyes?
Absolutely. None better.
For what particular reason? I mean, surely guys were doing things on pieces of wood years ago that Kelly Slater wouldn't be able to do on a piece of wood now, or is he that good?
I think he's better than that, and not only that, he's lasted really a long time at the top, which, is, again, a whole nother feat in itself.
Can I ask you about a place that most of our listeners wouldn't know about, and that's called G-Land? I've been up there about 12 times, and you've always been credited with opening it up along with, I guess, one or two of the locals and possibly Rory Russell. Can you tell me about the first time you saw it? Was it, as I've read, in an aeroplane and then you went back via the Grudgigan village?
Probably still, in my opinion, the finest surf spot in the world. I still think about that place almost daily.
You get a job in Talkback Radio. We've got something in common. But when you first went there, I mean, it's in a big national park. It would have been nothing there except a few of the locals.
Well, it was very remote. No people were there. It was just the wild animals and those waves. I mean, those waves, that is the most unbelievable long lined up left that I've ever seen in life. And like I said, I can't get it out of my mind even today.
Gerry, been great to have you on, and we really appreciate it. Hopefully, plenty of people get a look at your book. It's going to be in all good bookstores and a few bad ones in the not too distant future. Gerard, you've got the screed there.
Yeah, I have, and you're going to be down in Torquay itself at Patagonia, Gerry, on Thursday. I understand. Is it open to the general public?
I believe it is.
Well, Dwayne's a local resident down there, so if you see a big ugly bloke carrying a Malibu, you know that you've won Dwayne Russell over. Great to have you back in the country, Gerry, and congratulations on a great life in the sport, and we wish you well for the future.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on the show. It's been great.